Hi, my name is Jimmy Williams with NFL Draft Diamonds. And today I have with me one of these diamonds in the rough. His name is Jared Penning. He's an offensive lineman out of UNI, Northern Iowa. Nice to see you, man.
Good seeing you too, man.
The last name Penning should sound familiar. I mean, it's a name we've already known there at UNI, but obviously you're trying to make a name for yourself there as an offensive lineman and positioning yourself as one of the top guys at your position at the FCS level, and then obviously here soon as an NFL prospect. So, Jared, let's hear your story, man. Tell me where you're from and walk us through it a bit.
I'm originally from Clear Lake, Iowa. I went to Clear Lake High School, which is different than Trevor. He went to Newman Catholic, but that's just how it was. He just went to a different high school. Growing up, head coach Jared DeVries, played for him all 4 years. Good coach. Kind of showed me the way of how I could play higher level football, how I could play at the college level. Good mentor for that. Originally was recruited here. A lot of the other Valley schools, South Dakota State, the South Dakotas, uh, North Dakota, North Dakota State, just kind of a lot of those Valley schools. Little interest from the in-states here. Ended up choosing UNI. It was kind of them or NDSU at the end, and ended up siding with UNI. Brother was here, closer to home. Ended up being a great decision for me. I mean, I've loved every second being at UNI. That's pretty much
Awesome.
how I got here.
I mean, obviously, want to highlight your story there. I mean, again, you said that you went to Clear Lake High School there in Iowa.
Yeah.
Um, I'm not too familiar with Clear Lake. I mean, never truly been there myself. But tell me about your time there in high school. I've realized you also did some basketball as well. So
I
go
did,
ahead.
did play a little hoops, played some hoops. Yeah, I got it was a good place to go. I mean, it's a small high school. It's class 2A. I don't really know how that would match up in other states, but it's like the third level up. So I graduated with like 86 kids. Uh Growing up it was fun because I played pretty much every sport. I love baseball. I played that in high school till my sophomore year, track all throughout. Football was good. It was really fun playing with like a lot of these guys, a lot of the guys I played with, they're working full-time jobs now. They never played college football. So it's kind of fun playing with having memories with those guys playing football, and they're not even doing anything close to football anymore. So that was a cool part for me.
Interesting. So, obviously I introduced you as offensive lineman. Was it always offensive line for you? I mean, or anything else? Just elaborate.
It's pretty much always been old. I mean, I played D line in high school and growing up. I think pretty much every kid in a small town played both ways at some point.
Well,
But
yeah, I mean, it happens. Go ahead.
just kind of how it goes. Yeah, pretty much always been O line ever since like youth football days. They put the red dot in your helmet if you're too heavy. So I've always just been a big kid. So I've always been in the trenches since probably third grade.
So you've always been in the trenches. I mean, have you ever scored a touchdown?
I've never scored a touchdown. I think I recovered a couple fumbles in high school if I remember back far enough. I think I did a
Okay.
couple.
Well,
So
I
I've
mean,
touched it somewhat.
you don't want those situations to happen all too often, but I mean, of course, you do want to recover them when
Yeah.
they happen, obviously, because you
Yeah.
play offensive line.
I think I
But
was on defense back then, but yeah, now I definitely don't want to. I don't want to touch the ball at all unless we're in the end zone.
yeah, well, no, I
Someone
get
throws
you.
it.
I
Yeah.
mean, I figure every so often, sometimes like a running back or quarterback or something will hand the ball to an offensive lineman so that he can be the one to actually spike the ball. So,
Oh, yeah.
hopefully, you'll get those opportunities this upcoming season and beyond. So, um, so you talked about a couple other institutions recruiting you, but I feel like it was just kind of meant to be from the get-go. But go ahead and tell me a little bit more so about UNI for people that aren't very familiar with it. So, what makes it so special for you?
It's a small school, FCS school. We play in a tough conference, Missouri Valley. I think it's probably the best conference in FCS football, in my opinion. Uh, we're a hardworking bunch. I mean, we don't be honest with you, compared to these bigger schools, we don't get much in terms of like gear and all that. Gear, nutrition. It's kind of on you to, feed yourself, do what you need to do, keep yourself in line. There's no one really holding your hand here. So it's just kind of we're all kind of the same type of guy. Everyone wants to work hard and everyone's trying to play. Everyone's trying to prove themselves. That's the biggest part, I think. Everyone's really trying to prove themselves here because pretty much everyone at UNI feels like they were, kicked to the side by these like Iowa and Iowa States. I mean, that's how I feel, anyways. So
Sure.
yeah,
That's to be expected, of course. I mean, and you guys certainly have somewhat of a rival with those guys as well. It's kind of hey, you might be the big brother, but damn it, like we're gonna really give you a hell of a fight whenever we get have the opportunity. So um, great. You and I has been one of these universities lately that has really churned out a lot of great players actually on the offensive line, man. I mean, it's been insane, and that kind of goes back a few years. I mean, I think about guys like Spencer. That was a body of work there himself, man. I mean, he came in I remember he was not as big as he is now. I mean, he took him a little bit of time to grow into the player that he was. I think he ended up putting on like 80 pounds or something
yeah,
stupid like that.
yeah.
But yeah, UNI really has kind of a tradition at offensive line. I mean, how has that kind of helped you mold into the player that you are today?
It's definitely good having like role model. Like you said, Spencer, my brother, obviously. I remember when I was a freshman, probably the best leader on that O line was Jackson Scott Brown. He ended up playing the USFL for a couple years, I believe. I think he's coaching up there now. But he
Yeah.
was a tremendous, like high energy, high motor. Did everything the right way. Like he was a great guy to come into college and see right away. That's how you're supposed to do things.
Of course, and then like you had like the Ellerson Smith
Yeah.
type guy. I mean, I don't know if you yourself had any like time where you guys were going one on one with each other, but I mean, certainly some guys there that have developed. You and I has been putting bodies into the league, man. I mean, it's been great watching you guys do that. And again, like you said, probably one of, if not the most competitive conference in the FCS. So, um, and then of course, I got to talk about your brother a little bit. I mean, of course, got drafted in the first round by the Saints. A nasty mauler of a guy. When you think about him and his influence on you over the years, I mean, can you kind of, I don't know, talk about that a little bit? There's a little bit of sibling rivalry or something. I mean, but I just kind of want to get your take on his influence on you.
Yeah, I mean, Trevor's great for me, especially when we're here together and really seeing how he works. Because I mean, I said earlier we don't go to the same high school, so we never really played. We played youth sports together, but high school, you remember high school sports a lot more than you do when you're growing up. But I didn't really get to see him like lift and work out in the weight room every day. I'd go lift with him here and there, but I mean, he'd be in his high school weight room. I'd be at my high school weights. So it was kind of just, it was nice when I got here being able to grind with him. And he was just, he had more of the biggest thing I took from him was like his full throttle all the time, like every second of everything he's doing, like it's all out. I mean, I was probably like, I'm like, that's how you got to get there. If you want to make it, you got to be all in every day, every second of everything you're doing.
Gotcha. I mean, so let's talk a little bit more football. I mean, obviously you're a fixture there now on the offensive line. You've been a starter now for a while. So, how would you describe that offense and what you guys are trying to do out there?
Last year was awesome. I mean, it was the best year I've been a part of for our offense. I mean, we were throwing the ball all over the yard, running the ball in situations. It was more explosive runs. I felt like last year than it had been in the past. But I mean, Theo's a great quarterback. Theo's awesome. I think I think we really try to just open it up. We really try to take those deep shots now. Coach Reeder came in. It was his first year last year. That's really what I think the difference was. We're just taking more shots. It's not just the same vanilla play on first. It's not. We're gonna take some shots down the field, 1st and 10. Like it doesn't matter when it is or what the situation is. We're trying to score points.
Sure, sure. Let's talk a little bit more about your role and your overall experience on that offensive line.
My role in the past has been. I mean, I've always been the young guy starting on every O line. Even last year, I mean, we had 3 guys in their 6th year and 1 guy in their 7th year, and then there's me in my, I think, yeah, last year my 4th year. I'm starting to lose track now too. I'm getting old. Uh, yeah, so it was all those older guys, and now they're gone, and now I'm the one that's pretty much started the most games out of everyone. So it's kind of a quick transition into becoming the leader of the group.
So, let's just I gotta ask since you mentioned it. I mean, now you are the guy there on that offensive line. I mean, are you ready for that leadership role?
Yeah, I mean, I've always thought you just lead by example. I mean, there's nothing you really got to say too much. People will follow you if you're mauling people on Saturdays and you're making a difference on Saturdays. People will follow you whether you say a word or not. So I don't really think I have to do anything different. I think I got to elevate my play, but I don't think I really need to go out there and give speeches, rah rah speeches. I think it's just you know play hard on Saturdays, play hard Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Sure. I'm trying to remember. Are you currently playing left or right guard?
I have been playing left guard the past 2 seasons. I've been working at right tackle lately a lot.
Interesting. So, is that going to be part of what you're going to ask to do this upcoming season, or is that just kind of
I,
to add a little bit to you, or do you
I
not
think
know
that's what
yet?
I'm planning on playing this season. Is probably a right tackle. We have a lot of guys on the interior, so uh, left tackle. He's Tristan Roper. He's played a couple games, played some games at guard too, but I think he'll be a solid left tackle for us. And then they're just going to swing me out because our interior of our O line, it's I think it's a lot deeper than what our tackles would be. Got a lot of young guys, developmental guys right now. So
Sure, and you definitely want guys there on the outside that
yeah,
you're very comfortable with, guys that are veterans that understand like the schemes and
mhm.
such. So what do you feel is your guys' bread and butter, man? Like when you hear a certain play called, what is that one play where you're like, I'm pretty sure we're gonna get the job done.
Well, I remember years past, and this spring ball playing with this newer, younger group. I've always loved just anything we're double teaming, whether it's power or inside zone, duo, anything like that. I just love double teaming. I love working with the guy next to me, whoever it might be. That's always the best part of playing O line to me. It's good to go.
A little bit of teamwork, let's tag
Yeah,
team this one guy and pile drive him to
mhm,
the ground. I mean, that
yeah,
sounds like a good plan. I can appreciate that one.
yeah.
Um, cool. So, uh, talk about maybe your best moment so far. I mean, I know you and I play some great competition. And so when you think about the games that you've been a part of over the past few seasons, give me one instance, maybe whether it be a game or even a specific play. Can you share one of those?
Uh, yeah, I'd say probably the best game I've been a part of. Probably the most fun I ever had playing a game was at South Dakota State, and that was 2021 fall. I think it was Trevor's last year, so 2021 fall. We went to their place, and it wasn't anything. I think it was like a 21-16 game, so it wasn't like we were having the greatest day offensively or lighting the scoreboard up. But they were a solid. I think they were probably a top 5 team. We went out there and beat them. So that was probably the best team win I've been a part of. I love going somewhere and beating someone else. Like home wins are awesome, but there's nothing better than going, especially a big rival like that, or like a team you don't really care for, going to their place and beating them. That always feels so much better to me than. I mean, home wins are. I'll take a win's a win, but I love going to someone's house and beating them.
Sure. So you like being the bad guy?
Somewhat. It's kind of fun getting booed. I mean, I always remember that too. Jack Trice. My first real start, I would say, not including that spring season we had, was at Jack Trice and running out to booze. Like it's kind of I don't know, it gets your blood boiling a little bit. It's fun.
And you just kind of taunt the crowd
Oh yeah,
like
egg it
some
on.
WWE star or something. You're just taunting the crowd, just kind of say,
Yeah,
bring it, right?
yeah.
Um, cool. So, I'm just trying to understand you and obviously what's gotten you to where you are right now. I mean, obviously growing up there in Cedar Lake, Iowa. Um, growing up, who are you a fan of? I mean, was there a guy that you I don't know, maybe looked up to or wanted to be like when you were a little kid?
I would say when you ask me who I liked growing up for a football team, I would say the Minnesota Vikings. I loved Adrian Peterson. His MVP season was in 2012, so I was around like 12, around I was 12 actually, but that was a really fun time. That was when I probably really started getting interested in football. I mean, it was before then, but that's when I started like really dive deep into football. So I'd say Adrian Peterson might be a big
All right.
reason why.
So when was the moment for you that it kind of, I don't know, whether it clicked in your brain or someone told you, when did that whole, I guess, idea come for that, maybe I might be able to actually do something with this. Maybe I can actually make it into the NFL. Like when was that moment for you?
I would say, I mean, it's always been the dream of mine, but when it started to become more reality, I would say probably within the last year or two. I mean, seeing Trevor make it, obviously that gave me a lot of confidence because I'm like, hell, I mean, I've been working with him for years now, and we've been doing the same weight in the weight room and doing the same workouts together. So obviously, seeing him go in the first round of the draft, I mean, that gave me a lot of confidence that night. I mean, that's when it kind of came reality for not just me, but like the family, everyone. It became a reality that it's possible to do that.
Well, yeah, I mean, more or less the same genetics,
Yeah,
at the very least, same upbringing, right?
yeah, yeah.
Um, okay, so uh, we got one. You have this upcoming season, and maybe perhaps another season. I don't know how that's going to be for you. So, but let's just kind of focus on this upcoming year. Do you have any personal goals that you're trying to obtain?
Personal goals, they're always pretty similar for me. I want to be an all Missouri Valley player, first team. That's every year, and then I mean, I want to see if I can get my name onto mock draft boards and everything with that goal. I mean, that would be awesome to do that as well. Team goals, I'm more team goals. I want to win the Missouri Valley Conference for UNI. It's been 2011 was the last time they won it,
Mm.
so bringing one back here because if you win the Missouri Valley, I mean, you can win the whole thing. I mean, we saw it last year with NDSU, SDSU. They're both Missouri Valley football teams, and they're playing for the national championship. So if you win this league, you can win the whole thing. That's what Coach Farley said for every year I've been here. Is if you win the Missouri Valley, you got every chance to win the Natty.
Yeah, and honestly, man, like you guys got a lot of great talented players around you right now. I mean, both on offense and defense. I mean, you spoke somewhat there of your quarterback the other day, and then I know that there's guys all over, man. Give me give me a feel for some of those guys that you grind with on the day to day.
I've been lifting a lot with Cannon Butler. He's a defensive end, actually. He's a class below me. I've never really lifted or worked out with him, but I remember when he came in, I remember he wasn't overly strong. He was pretty skinny. He's a 6'6", I think he is. He's a skinny guy. And lifting with him now, I can just see how much work he's put in, and he's just throwing around. He's throwing around similar to weight to me now, and I would have never guessed that. Like when you see him come in, you would never think that they were going to put that much size on. And I mean, he hasn't been here what 3 years, so it hasn't been too long. He's got plenty of years left.
Well, I mean, you and I has been able to do that in the past. I mean, put
Yeah.
weight on guys,
Oh yeah.
change guys into, what they need to be. I mean, um, when you think about yourself, like over the past few seasons, few years, I mean, what do you think's changed the most? I mean, from you at, as a guy coming out of high school and you today, like what do you feel has changed the most?
Just like athleticism and I'd say almost mentally, I've gotten so much better. Just being able to put up with the whole length of a football game. I don't feel myself getting as tired as I was in high school. I mean, coming out of high school, I was 355, 360 coming in here. So I'm down to a little under 330 right now. So I'd say my conditioning's gotten a whole lot better. Strength wise, I mean, I don't feel it. If you come here and don't get strong, then you just didn't show up or something because there's no way to not get strong at this place. I mean, Jed's probably I think he's the best strength coach in the country just based off the numbers we put up in our weight room. And I don't know. I just think all
No,
those things have gotten better.
hey, I have a lot of faith in y'all's strength coach and y'all's coaches. I mean, I think they do one of the best jobs in the country. I'm gonna just go out on a limb and say that. I mean, they really do an excellent job,
Appreciate it.
developing guys like you. I mean, you had mentioned you've uh, been able to really dominate there in the weight room, as you're developing your body. I don't know, give us some sense, man. Give me like some PRs or something, give me some sense of what you're doing so that we can
Yeah.
showcase that.
Well, I'd say my squat's my best lift. I think the most I've ever hit on a squat is 615. Can't remember exactly when that was, but it was 615. But we do. I mean, it's almost like we just lift heavy a lot. I mean, we do a lot of heavy lifting. It's not. We don't really take a whole lot of light weights. It feels like. I mean, we're always pushing weight. So I think that's why everyone just gets like an edge to them, where they can just do that over and over and over.
Sure. Well, hey, I mean, I love hearing that number. I think it's great, and again, having a great strength coach is key. For developing guys into the pro prospects that you are. So, um, want to get a chance actually to meet the guy under the helmet. Meet this Jared Penning guy. So, is there something about you feel people need to know, whether it be your interests, passions, hobbies, or something? You have any special talents or whatever? I mean, give me a little something.
I'd say I'm a pretty typical guy, to be honest with you. I mean, I like doing, watching sports. I've always just I'm interested in sports, whether that's playing video games. I'm probably playing a sports video game. If I'm watching TV, it's probably sports related. Stand-up comedy, I've gotten into that recently. That's kind of a new thing. It's not sport related.
Okay.
I'd say, yeah.
So, I mean, who are you watching? You watch some like older comedians or some of the new ones
Oh,
today? Like, give me some specifics.
yeah, Bill Burr, older one. I mean, he is new and old, I guess. Dave Chappelle's always fun. Uh, Joey Diaz, Theo Vaughn. My girlfriend's big into Matt Rife. I'm not. He's all right, but I'm not too. I'm not. I think every girl is right now, so I don't really know.
That's fine. I mean, cool. So, let me just kind of throw some questions at you. Maybe a short little question answer session real quick. You have a favorite movie?
Oh, yes, but I have to think on what that would be.
Okay,
Favorite
favorite football movie. Let's narrow it down.
favorite football. Rudy's just a classic. Rudy's just like I don't know. I think old classic movies like that, like you can't beat Rudy. I mean,
Oh,
that's crazy.
you gotta
And I
love it.
actually did. I actually did meet him at the Senior Bowl, so I have to say Rudy now. Actually,
All right, well, there you go. It's
yeah,
all
I
done.
got it.
So,
Yeah.
how about a TV show? Is there a TV show you recommend that hey Jimmy, binge watch this one?
Oh, complete another classic. Breaking Bad. That's the best show I've ever watched. And
I
you
think
probably watched it.
it's becoming a classic. It's not like
Yeah, yeah. It's probably not a classic yet, but yeah, it's a classic to me, I guess now because I watched it so much later than when it came out.
sure. No, I get you. Uh, obviously a guy born in Iowa, plays in Iowa. Where's the farthest you ever been from home?
Oh, my mom loves going on like Caribbean vacations, so I've been down. I'd say it's probably can't remember the island. St. Lucia, I think that's yeah, St. Lucia. That's probably the furthest I've been away from home.
Cool. You
I'd say
have like
that's pretty
maybe
far
like
down.
a dream, like a bucket list kind of destination. I mean, have you thought about that one?
Uh, I I would. I've always thought going to Europe would be kind of cool. I mean, I've just never been there at all. I've never seen any of it. And Greece looks pretty cool. Places out there, just somewhere in Europe. I think. I mean, my mom
Awesome.
loves going to the Caribbean, so might as well try
Awesome.
something different.
Um, what about do you have a maybe a celebrity that you would love to get an opportunity to meet, whether that be a an actor, a musician, or even an athlete?
Oh, I mean, yeah, I'd like to meet a lot of people. I feel like, but to single one out.
You can
Uh,
give me a couple. That's fine. I'll take.
yeah, I probably those stand-up comedians. I'd love to meet one of them and just have a conversation with them. I also like Joe Rogan. I've loved his podcast forever. He's just a very interesting guy.
Sure.
Yeah,
What about guys that are playing your position? I mean, again, other than your brother, because you spend most of your life with him,
yeah.
other than him, who at the next level are you, I don't know, maybe either a fan of or somebody that you study on a regular basis? I mean, give me
Yeah.
somebody who plays your position who you like it.
When I was playing guard, I always watched Quentin Nelson. A lot of his, I love watching his Notre Dame film because we had Notre Dame film for some game, and I would always watch Quentin Nelson or just watch him play. I'd always just watch him. And then tackles, Trent Williams. I think he's the best doing it right now, obviously, or in my opinion. Yeah, I'd say Trent. I love watching Trent Williams play because we had 49ers film for a while too. So I'd always watch Trent Williams and Quentin Nelson. And then
Gotcha.
Eric Fisher with the Chiefs. I remember when he was playing. So I don't
Right.
know if he's still playing or not, but he
I
was fun to watch. His pass set was the fastest thing I've ever seen in my life. So that was
Yeah,
fun watching.
yeah, he was a very athletic guy. I mean, all those guys I feel have different skill sets. I mean, when you think about guys who like Nelson, like he just kind of had I don't know, man, like maybe just he just understands the game better than
Yeah.
anybody. I mean, and then you have Trent Williams, who's like this nasty in your face kind of guy who's just gonna like, I don't know, make you hate life. So that's it, and he does a fantastic job of that. So cool. So anything else about you that you want to share that we haven't talked about? I mean, I do want to eventually wind things down, but anything else about you?
Not too much. I mean, just pretty standard guy, like hanging out with the friends. You know, hang out on the weekends, work out during the week. Pretty much hang out with the football guys. A lot of us old linemen. We actually had a bunch of us went out back to Clear Lake. We went there for the 4th of July, hung out on the boat all day, had a good time. So I think it's kind of what we always do. Just chill and play football.
I think that's a natural anyways, right?
Yeah.
Like for offensive linemen to do, hang out and bond with one another and maybe perhaps eat because that's what
Oh yeah.
offensive linemen do.
We had a
Um,
little bit of food.
but hey man, it's been nice kind of hanging out with you, getting to know you and sharing your story. I mean, obviously we got a season in front of us for you to showcase your talents in front of scouts. And I want to give you an opportunity really just to talk to them right now and tell them why you would be a great asset to their team, why you should be drafted and be a part of their team. So hit them with your pitch.
Well, I mean, I played a lot of football. This is gonna be my 3rd year starting, I believe. So a lot of games under the belt. I feel like I've competed pretty well. I look forward to dominating this season, putting even better stuff on tape. I feel like I'm a pretty versatile player. I think I'm looking forward to showing that playing right tackle this year, not only a different side but different position than I've played the past 2 years. And I think if you're a guy like me, is just going to be a hardworking guy. Not really going to complain. I'm always willing to do whatever it has to be able to play Saturdays, Sundays, wherever it might be, whatever I need to do to get my job done.
Great. Well, I mean, obviously, like you said, very versatile, has great size, good pedigree, a guy who knows what it takes to be a winner. And you've got people around you that have positioned you so that you're going to have some success. You're going to have some success out there on the field, whether it be at inside at guard or at right tackle this upcoming season. But Jared, wish you all the best. All right.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Good talking to you.
No problem. Jared Penning, offensive lineman, Northern Iowa. Check this guy out this season.